All right, good afternoon, everyone. Certainly want to thank you for being here today. And let's open with the word of prayer, and then we will begin our meeting. Father in heaven, we thank you for your blessings toward us. We're grateful to you for all that you have provided and all the ways that you have made. Lord, we pray that you would continue to guide us and lead us, that you would give knowledge and wisdom, that you would help sustain us as these are trying and difficult times. Lord, I'm asking that you would refuel and rejuvenate those of us that are in this work of justice, that there is seemingly an end, but we do not yet know what is on the other side. And so we pray that you would grant us strength, that you would give us renewal, and that you will aid us for the work that's ahead. Be with us today during our time of meeting, and we'll give you glory. In your son's name we pray, amen. All right, certainly want to remind everyone that early voting ends tomorrow. The last day of early voting for our county is tomorrow. So please encourage your spheres of influence, your constituents, to consider early voting. We know people might have planned to go election day and then stuff happens or the lines are long and things become complicated. So please encourage them, if they're able to, make sure that they vote before tomorrow. Also want to acknowledge the presence of one of our former presidents. Pastor James Turner is here, so we appreciate him, and it's good to have him in the room. And we appreciate him. It's also to have a great colleague visiting with us back in his old stomping ground. Reverend Keith Caldwell is here, so we appreciate his presence as well. Are there any first-timers at IMF? Any first-timers that are here? We'll had an opportunity to hear from our presenter in just a few moments. We appreciate all of you all for being here. Again, lunch is $10. If you're not a member, you can see Reverend Keys, and she will work you through membership. That's $150. We are excited today to have with us Senator Oliver, state senator. So we're going to have her come. Well, let me do this. Do we have any 60-second announcements? If we have any 60-second announcements, if you will come. Following our 60-second announcements, we're going to have the senator come to give us greetings. And then following that, we will have a brief presentation from our IMF Gala Chair, MLK Week and Gala Chairs, to give some information and share some information about the upcoming events, so we're all abreast. And then I will come back to introduce our presenter.
Thank you. My name is LaShawn Oliver. I wanted to thank you all for having me the last several weeks on behalf of Megan Berry for Congress. She came a few weeks ago and spoke to this audience and answered questions. But November 5th is the last day to get out and exercise our civic duty and vote. Ancestors fought hard for us to have that voice. But when they cracked our districts a few years ago into 3, they did it knowing that if we did not turn out and vote, and they expected it, that they could continue to keep those seats that they have today and do no work for us. But if we go and vote, we will win seats. And so I have an event coming up this Saturday. If you're interested, let me know, and I'll get you the information. And I need people on Tuesday to go and cheer on voters. So thank you. This will be my last meeting unless Senator Oliver sends me as a surrogate on her behalf. But I appreciate the fellowship and the time these last several weeks. It's been it's blessed my spirit. So thank you all.
Good morning. It's not every day I follow up my husband in a meeting or work and personal life collide. that's great. Thank y'all for having me. And I wasn't planning on giving any remarks. I just wanted to come and be a participant in community with my district and just see what the tea is going on at IMF. But I appreciate the space to just be able to address you all. I've been busy. If you don't follow me on social media or get my newsletters, you would know that, but I be out here. It's election season. I'm not on the ballot, but there are a lot of candidates out here that need our support. So I've been crisscrossing the state, going to Knoxville, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Clarksville to support other people because we actually have an opportunity to pick up a few seats here. And so I've been donating my time to make sure that democracy still stands after November 5th. And so please, if you haven't, please vote. We really need you to do that. I'm prayerful for a victory on November 5th. In terms of what I have coming up, legislative session starts in January. So if you have any ideas for legislation or any concerns, now is the time to get that to me because we are starting to draft legislation. So let me know if there are any things that I need to be thinking about for the district. I will be doing town halls. Well, town halls, that's kind of an unsexy term. So I'm calling them happy hours. Next month, I'm going to be going across the district. Senate District 19 stretches all the way up to Goodlettsville, down to, what'd you say, Pastor? Yes. Me too. So yes, my district stretches all the way up to Goodlettsville, down to the Rutherford County line in Antioch. So I'll be at different locations. My goal is to support minority, black-owned businesses, so they will be at various locations. The first one will be on November 7th. Mark your calendars, the North Nashville, Bordeaux area. I'll be at Sweats for that one. And the first 10 people will get a gift card that show up for that. So tell your folks to show up for that, but I'll be at different places throughout the district that I'll put out by this weekend. Other than that, I don't think I have any other announcements coming up, but feel free to subscribe to my newsletter. I send that out, the Senator Source. You can get to it through my social media, but also on my website, oliverfortnsenate.com. All right. Thank y'all so much, and as always, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Oh, we could just use one. Can we turn this on? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tabitha Mundy, and I am the IMF MLK Day Gala Chair. And with me,
Cheryl Mays, the IMF Planning Committee Chair.
and I want to thank you so much for this honor of being the chair. This is the third year for the gala, and any of y'all been to the gala before? Okay, yeah, we had our keynote for the first galas in the room, and thank you so much for your support. This year, the gala will be held on Thursday, January 16th, 2025. We have a great location this year for the gala. It will be at the Parthenon. And so we're taking the elegance up a couple notches by presenting the gala at that location. So the purpose of the gala is to help bring in money to give back to the community, specifically to those who are attending HBCUs. And there is a fund that's created. It's an IMF fund, and so the monies will go there to help our young people, help them get into college, help them be able to continue the mission of social justice, and we need each and every one of your support to do that. How can you support? I'm glad you asked. You can support by going online, and we have Brian here who's amazing. He's put our website together. You can also go on our website and actually purchase tickets. And the website address?
NashvilleMLKday.com.
Perfect. Tickets right now are $100, which is very low for a gala. You know, these days galas are almost $500. So right now you can get your gala ticket for $100. That price will only be until November 5th, Election Day, an easy date to remember. So after the 5th, the tickets will go up. They will go up to $150. So we have a QR code that we can pass around right now, so you can go ahead and get your ticket. If you could just pass that around the room. All you have to do is scan that QR code, and you'll be able to purchase your ticket via Eventbrite. So after the 5th, again, the tickets will go up to $150. So you want to make sure you go ahead and purchase at that really good price today.
And just really quickly, let me give you the correct website. It's mlkdaynashville.com. You will be able to find all the information for the gala and for all the events that are happening for MLK Day week of events at our website.
And I just wanted to leave you with this so you could hear King's voice. It was, oh, just a second, I'm sorry. I put this on my IG yesterday, and then when I just kept listening to it, I was like, wow, he is saying the same stuff right now that was relevant 60 years ago. So I just want to leave you with this.
To be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit. And on Tuesday, 1 week from today, the people of this nation must decide whether they want America to remain true to the great words of the founding fathers. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. We must decide next to take the high road of justice and peace, compassion for the poor and underprivileged, or whether this nation will tread the low road of man's inhumanity, the man of injustice, of short-sightedness. Each of us has a moral responsibility, if we are of voting age and if we are registered, to participate in that decision.
So, very powerful words that are still relevant today. So next Tuesday, not only is it election day, but the last day to get your early bird tickets for the gala.
And just a quick reminder, early bird tickets sales will end next Tuesday, and those prices will increase. But please keep in mind that there will be no day of sales this year. We ran into an issue. Well, it's not really our issue. It is a specification of the location where we will be. We cannot sell tickets the day of the event. So suggestion to everyone, make sure you get your tickets in advance, because if you just show up that day expecting to be able to pay at the door, you're going to be taking a lovely walk around the park, but you won't be able to get into the event. And also, a quick announcement, our keynote speaker for MLK Day, the week of events for the convocation this year, is Dr. Daniel Black. He is he's an author, and he is an activist, and he's also the professor of African American Studies at Clark Atlanta University. He's an amazing speaker, and I think everyone will enjoy that the keynote speech. So keep checking our website for updates on how you can get involved. We love volunteers. We'd love to have folks volunteer to help us during this time. Join us if you can. If you feel like you must do some civic duty, we'd love to have you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Questions? Volunteering looks like what you want it to look like. We have several events. We have a week of events that you could volunteer for. If you go to our website and sign up to volunteer, you will be able to select the event that you'd like to volunteer for. And our volunteer coordinator will reach out to you with more specifics on times, locations, and things like that.
I'd love for you to volunteer for the gala if you'd like to. Yes. So setup help, registration, table help, help with getting everything broke down,
Thank you both very much. Also, I know the name Daniel Black may not ring for some, but if you remember last year around commencement time, Daniel Black had a very viral speech that he gave for Clark Atlanta graduates that really set the internet ablaze. And so we are looking forward to his words for the MLK Day. And we thank our planning team, our co-chair, and our chair of the gala for their wonderful work in leading and planning of this initiative and effort. It's our 40th anniversary, and so we're looking forward to please invite your churches, your spheres of influence, your organizations, not only to the gala, but also let's be present for the week of events for MLK Day, particularly our pivotal day in which we march from here to TSU. We want to make sure that those we have influence with our present and know the significance of the day. We are now in time for our presentation. Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for that. We know that we have a sister organization in the NAACP here in our city. That the NAACP has been a long-serving organization. Many of us are dually aligned. We are members of IMF as well as the NAACP. And so we are excited to be able to have the opportunity to hear from our president of the NAACP, Mr. Williamson. He's going to come give us information, give us update, give us review of the work of the branch and how we can be in support and how we can be in concert with the work that the NAACP is doing. Can we welcome him as he comes?
Good afternoon, everyone. As we get the PowerPoint pulled up, it is a few slides, so I'll do my best not to bore you too much. But I have a few things I want to share with you all from our local branch. Thank you all for having me here. This is my first time. I usually watch on our stream. So shout out to my mom and other people that are watching near the stream. We're at the IMF now. So it's a blessing and an honor and privilege to be in front of you all here this evening. While we get that pulled up, it may say PowerPoint as an IMFPP, or it may just be the PDF. Either way, I can rock without it, but just in case, we're going to get that pulled up for you. A little bit of background about myself while we do that. I am born and raised from Nashville, Tennessee. Background Temple, Church, Jolton Elementary, Kings Lane, Middle before the name change, Head Magnet Middle, and I was going to go to MLK, but at that point they had a testing program and I missed it by 1 point, so I went to Nashville School of the Arts. The first year they started doing auditions, and luckily, thankfully, to the birthday just passed, Mr. Richard Griffin was my band instructor, got me an NSA, and during that time went to Pearl Cone High School to play in a marching band for a few years over, arguably the best band in the city during that time, whatever. We'll take it. Well, I'll take that. But after that, I took my efforts to, it's okay. I took it to, I'll get my computer, to Middle Tennessee State University. Much love to Tennessee State University. My family and friends and everyone went there, but I figured the best place for me to separate from any distractions was to go a little bit down the road. So I went to Middle Tennessee State. After that, graduated, came back here to Middle Tennessee, joined the Urban League of Middle Tennessee. Shout out Clifton Harris. And that was a great learning opportunity through the YP, the Young Professionals of the Urban League of Middle Tennessee. That was a great opportunity. And then I said, well, my efforts and energy, I'm concerned about civil rights. I'm definitely supportive of history and the advocacy work that has been laid here for generations. Where else can I lend that? Back at MTSU, I joined the collegiate chapter in 2006. And I just learned so much, went to executive board and committees there. Thank you. And it was great, but I didn't I felt like I needed to contribute back here home to, let me see, it's over there in my back, to Middle Tennessee. And I joined the Nashville branch of the NAACP, got on a few committees, because we have over 21 committees that are in my PowerPoint here. And with those committees, aligned with different groups and people to build out current status from there. Was elected, voted into our executive committee as the first vice president. And if you haven't known or looked around from then and now, we've had a shake-up, a adjustment, if you will, a transformation since then. And the Lord has blessed me to be in this current state of president of our Nashville branch. So that fast forwards us to this amazing year and time and place and space that we are in now. So with all of that being said, I am here just thankful for this opportunity and want to provide a little background once we get this rolling on our next agenda for this upcoming year, 2025, what we're currently doing, and just how we can better facilitate and be a partner here in Nashville, Davidson County. So let me get it rolling. Should come up. Just spinning on the screen here. All right. So as that does what it needs to do, we'll figure it out. Have 3 bullet points we're going to hit in the overview. What does the Nashville NAACP do? What is our strategic plan and agenda? And how can IMF strengthen its relationship with the NAACP? Our mission, specifically of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, is to secure the political, educational, social, and economic qualities of rights, to eliminate race-based discrimination, and ensure health and well-being of all persons. This is not something new to I do not believe anyone here, but it is something that we stress. That is our mission. It's on the website. It's on our branch website. It's our overall mission. The vision behind this is to ensure a society in which all individuals have equal rights without discrimination based on race. I may not need the mic. Can you all hear me well without the mic? I need the mic? Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So our goal here is basically to advocate and show initiative towards these ventures, and it's pivotal. As you know, since 1909, we've had a host of different struggles and things of that nature, but it is our goal to overcome those collectively in our partnerships and our unions. Next slide, as you don't see on the screen here, unfortunately, but I'm going to read them over anyway. I have them here on my phone. The services we provide, they convey things such as ideas, programs, products, or services that are usually carried out in discussions or forums to executive committee members and general body members. Now, with that, we have community outreach, policy reform, program development, and resource advocacy. And these things, they vary from year to year, from committee to committee. As I mentioned briefly here, we have 21 committees, a host of different committees that basically, they're the lifeblood of our branch. My role specifically is to advocate, the figurehead, if you will, to be present in different initiatives. So that goes to our vice presidents and things of that nature, our officers, if you will. Our executive committee oversees those type of things, manages, gives recommendations, things of that nature. Our lifeblood, how we move and move around, is strictly through our committees. We have 21, a host of those. I had a list on this screen. I'm so sad about my PowerPoint, y'all. My apologies. It's on my phone, but it's not for the screen, and we're going to keep rocking. I appreciate y'all diligence there. So next thing, besides what we do, we have a strategic plan. Thanks to Dr. Judy Cummins. She's not here with us today, but I'm sure you all know of Dr. Cummins. Last year, we put together and implemented and got approved and accepted for our strategic plan. Since then, we've been making updates over 2024, and I had 6 steps pinpointed to show you guys, but I'll just read them here. The first step in our strategic plan is developing an organizational structure for staff and volunteers, establishing an onboarding program, and accompanying manuals and programming for executive committee members with annual reviews. This year's annual review is coming up in December, but that is the first step. Also with soliciting and identifying volunteers for branch work through the community structures, and supporting branch initiatives and creating NAACP coalitions with internal and external stakeholders around the community. That was step one. Step two, improving membership data collection and reconciliation of current member base, developing an annual countywide membership campaign, submitting quarterly reports from the membership committee to our executive committee. Currently, they receive oral reports. We don't want that to just be oral. We want data. We want numbers to be present and documented. Maybe yourself, maybe others and friends and family will say, I've become a member, but I didn't get a card. I've become a member and I didn't get an email. I've become a member and I wanted to join a committee and never got a response back. Well, strategic plan step 2 is initiating those things, from just simple dropping off your money down the street at the branch and not receiving anything. We're making that streamlined digitally. Online, a record, Excel sheets documented, so we don't just picking up gaps that previously may have been missed. Step 3, and this is 3 through 6, so I won't have to go through each one and hold up too much because I want to open this for questions and all of those good things. 3 through 6, I'm about to run through. Be the premier advocacy group for civil rights for blacks and African Americans in Nashville. We have been for quite some time, decades, but well, over certain years, you know, things go up and down. We are in the process of rebuilding that back up. We would like to be looked for, black and brown issues. Not just one. There's a host of other organizations that do that, but we need to reestablish that same type of trust, that same type of guidance, that same type of resource for our community. That was step 3. Step 4, reactivate youth and college units in the Nashville area. Reactivate it, which means our NACP units throughout our colleges. TSU, we luckily got that. They were already online, but you know, sometimes you gotta get the paperwork right through the state and what. We finally got that done. TSU is back online. Currently working with Fisk University with their historic legacy with John Lewis Foundation used to have everything that Fisk has been established for. We are currently in the process of getting them back online. Working with Belmont, and we all know Belmont has their own specifics, how they operate. Shout out to Belmont. We're coming there as well to reactivate our black and brown students at Belmont University. ABC, American Baptist College. Recently, our second Vice President, David Connors, has been working with them to reactivate ABC. And that would also go for Meharry and I believe I'm probably missing one, Trevecca, and one more, David Lipscomb. We're currently in active planning for that part of strategic plan, reactivating our college units. And they are active. The college students are there. They haven't had full programming guidance for quite some time. And that usually goes through, well, specifically goes through an administrator on the campus, a executive leader. We're communicating with them to get these students back involved. Step 5 is to expand the electoral application and voting power for all Nashville people of color. As another one of our state representatives' interests, this is something that we have to advocate for and make sure we are ready to vote. I know this may sound like a last-minute pitch here 6 days before a national election, but guess what? We have elections every year. It's not just our presidential one. We need to strengthen and expand our electoral application and voting power for all Nashville people of color. Step 5. Step 6, and the last one here, creating and or developing a civic engagement chair who will strategically invest in voter registration, voter awareness, and education, and our GoTV activities. And GoTV stands for Get Out the Vote. So those are the top 6. It's currently 8, and the other 2 I believe I can pull it back. I believe my battery died here on my poor little tablet. But the other two are basically activities in the community, kids, youth development programming, and volunteerism. Those are the last two. And this is an 8-point strategic plan that we have been structured for quite some time. This wasn't just my putting together. The entire committee under multiple administrations have galvanized this over the past 4 years and prior even of this current 8-point, 8-step process. Now, if anyone would like a copy of this and further detail, I can share it. Give me 2 minutes to plug in this computer and get it charged, and I'll be glad to share any of this information about the 8-step process that we are currently actively checking off a lot of these boxes, but this is still going into the strategic plan of 2025. And the last point, how to strengthen relationship with the NAACP besides myself or just members you may know. How about you join? That'll be awesome. So becoming a member, placing membership online at naacpnashville.org or at the local branch. We would love to get membership. We would love to get your activity. We would love to get your donations. We would love to get your support. We would love to get anything you think you can contribute to the Nashville branch of the NAACP. That's how we can strengthen that relationship going forward. All ideas are open. I'm not concerned with how you stand, how you vote, as long as you do, what you think. If you have an opinion or a view that you think can be shared to the benefit of the black and brown people of this community, please, by all means, reach out to me, our Vice President Timothy Hughes, or any of the officers in leadership, or just go online and submit the request through naacpnashville.org. We'll be so glad and grateful to receive and get it to the proper channels. Just a few of the committees. I said we had 21, so I'll mention some of them here. AXO, which is, for looser words, it is a talent program for our youth and young adults. And the program is seriously in its redeveloping stages. We're on the 3rd year of having it, and we wanted to make sure we had a platform where kids can be highlighted, where they can show their talents and skill sets and be able to advocate for them here in the Nashville branch. It wasn't just our idea. This is a national initiative that every year, winner or so from the AXO competition goes to our state convention, and they put on their show, their arts and talents to the world. Scholarship money comes from that, funding, research, a host of things come with that. It's on our website, naacpnashville.org. There's information about the AXO competition. We have communications. I think I got it up now. I think when I hit the expand, it said forget that, and it shut it all down. But it's all good. See what happens? I was doing too much. I hit too many buttons. But yes, what is it? TV. Okay. But yes, the AXO competition, communications, civic engagement, environmental justice, education, health equity, housing, legal redress, membership, political action, youth works, and more. These are just a few. I didn't do the math. What's it, like 9 or 10, 11 of our committees? We have 21. Some of those are active. Some of those are not. If you see one and think, hey, I haven't seen too much activity in it, guess what? You probably need to come and make them active. That'll be awesome. That'll be super helpful and great. And last but not least, for more information, we have our phone number to the branch office, 615-329-0999, or our website again, naacpnashville.org. Address is up the street here. I'll walk with you or drive you down there if you're not familiar. It is 1308 Jefferson Street. Our location, I won't go into a history of how we're there, but a long, illustrious history. We're currently in the preservation stage of our local branch office. Grant funding, Metro Historic Society, the State Historic Department. We're working on a lot of things to preserve the history of our current branch. It's in the work. I'm open to all questions on that. And last but not least, perfect time in the main slide. I'll be remiss if I didn't put this one up here. Thank you all. Thank you all for this opportunity. Our Freedom Fund Banquet, we are on the door of it. It is this Saturday, November 2nd. If you haven't got your Freedom Fund ticket, go ahead and do so now, because I just had to call one of our programmers this morning to reopen the link online because people are still trying to get their tickets. There's still a few days left. As our MLK chair just mentioned, we will be shutting this link down on Friday. You will not show up on Saturday and walk in with your $10,000 check. Now, if you come in with $10,000, well, we'll find. I'll get up. We'll figure that out. But you know, if you want to just come solo, we definitely need you to come get your seats and be available for an amazing event that Chair Beverly Glaze Johnson and the entire committee has put together. I can't. I try to stay away from other people's planning. That's what I like to do, and have people to be able to do their own thing. Chair Beverly Glaze Johnson has done it 2 years in a row. She has put together an amazing show for y'all this Saturday. So that's to our left, and left, right. To the other side of the screen is a ride to the polls. As I said, our election day is next Tuesday, 3 days after our Freedom Fund. We already have we've been told 200 poll watchers are already mobilized that are not partners of anyone in this room. They already have plans for election day. After this meeting, I'm going to go pick up my poll watcher certification, because we're going to be out there too. It's going to be an eventful day. So the one thing we're trying to do as the organization is have rides to the polls. It costs too much to do early voting, and it was 2 weeks worthy, and we decided, hey, let's just pick election day, one solid day from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you need a ride to the polls, you can call the Nashville branch, and we'll hook you up. We're going to find a way to get you to the nearest polling location. And, well, that's that on that. We have a host of different organizations. Delta Sigma Theta Alumni Chapter, I believe Middle Tennessee here. The AKAs, the Alpha Delta Omega, Stone River Baptist Convention, and a host of others that are listed on the flyer. They're on the commercials, if you haven't heard the commercials on the radio. And we're welcoming any other partners. If you have a van, bus, transportation that you can, donate some time and resources on election day, an hour, 2 hours, the whole entire day, that would be super. We would love that participation to make sure we're doing our civic part, to make sure people have a ride to the poll on November 5th. And with that, that is the end of my presentation. I do apologize again, y'all, for the breakdown, my little overview, my little mission and vision. I had a little background and some visuals for the communication policy, our strategic plan steps 1, 2, and 3 through 6. And that was all. That's all you missed there. But thank you all for your time, and I'm open for any questions, comments. Thank you all for being here. Yes, ma'am. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
And the priorities and goal setting mindset. Can you go over your 3 biggest priorities for next year, and then what would you like to be true at the end of 2025?
Oh, yes. That's good. Ain't nobody asked me that. Thank you. Yes, that's perfect. First thing, volunteerism. I would love first to get our service level back up of volunteers. Currently, one of our largest expenses is we're having to pay staffing. That's unfortunate. In previous years, that has been allocated for volunteers, retired, people just want to dedicate time or have the capacity to do so, and it has taken care of those needs. Well, inflation, economy, just working. All of us got 2 multiple jobs, so it's understood why. The problem is to fill those voids, we have been having to use the few resources we have. We've been having to use those for staffing. Volunteerism is one thing I would like to have increased. Step 2, membership, always membership. One of our past president, Ludi Wallace, would say, always mention the memberships. Always talk about the membership. So memberships, always joining committees, or just sitting in and passing information. We don't want to put everyone to work who may not. We don't want to, you got to do this, you got to do that. But if you're able to, your membership will put you in a place to be a part, get information, sharing it, and actively being a committee chair or a committee member. And thirdly, just to get a better foothold on the city. We're the capital city branch in the state, so that's great. But I still want it more robust. I want it bigger. I want it larger. By the end of 2025, we're gonna do just that. And what it looks like, just more people on board. I love when I get comments when, oh, it was like this in the past, and somebody didn't get a ticket to my gala in '97, and I ain't talked to them since. Yeah, we're changing that now. So come talk to me or someone else, and let's get you a seat at this gala coming up, and we'll do some partnering to make it square again. So just ending any bad trauma or bad taste in anybody. I'm here to be the mouthwash. I'm here to clean that out, and we fix this right up. We're the capital city branch for that reason. Our predecessors, Brother Keith Caldwell, a host of other, the litany goes on, past presidents in leadership, Sonny Dixon, Cheryl Gwynn, Vanita Lewis, a host of others that I'm missing, and yet they're going to talk about me later. But all of our leadership prior have led such an impact on this organization. By the end of this year, we're going to ramp it back up in honor of them. So that's
That's not mine this time.
okay. Yes, sir.
Mr. President, you talked about past leadership, and I just want to ask you about the sustainability of leadership at the NAACP, which has been an issue throughout all of those administrations that you've mentioned, to go from one administration to another and restart, to try to catch up, figure out what is going forward, what's not going forward, has been something that has been a burden, actually, and maybe something that has not allowed us to go as far as we can. You know, there are other organizations like the Urban League you mentioned where they have an executive director. That executive director is not a volunteer that changes out every year. That executive director is paid. That executive director continues to bring that continuity from year to year. It has been argued, and I know it's a long question, but it's been argued that the executive director position would eliminate the need for those staff costs that you're currently incurring, and would also bring that kind of continuity that this city, I believe, deserves in its local branch going forward. What is the potential for that?
Absolutely, a great question. Yes, in our bylaws and constitution, we do have a special location for executive director. We don't have any paid roles in the branch. I'm not getting a dime, except God's blessing to keep it going. But we have a special category for staffing, and that one main position is an executive director. We're looking into it. That right now, the going Glassdoor research of payment or allocations that can be given to that is too much than we can afford. Unfortunately, if we got some other resources and things, I won't name names, I won't do it, but if we got some other resources that could help and support that, we can implement that at the top of the year. The problem is right now, it's below budget of what that type of role would offer. Now, if we do have some people, by all means, that's willing to take that cut for such a pivotal, important role, we have plans to allocate certain resources that are gained from that role to go straight to that individual. Raise $200,000 for NACP Nashville. There would be a percentage that goes to that executive director, and so on and so forth. So it is very open and loose so far. How it's done is welcomed, and we're just trying to make sure it's equitable, so whoever we can put in that role has a legitimate payout. So we just want to make it fair when that time comes. Yes.
Recently, there was a mailer sent out with the NACP and Councilwoman Kimbrough voicing opposition to the transit referendum.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question is, how do we ever get to the larger idea of collective consensus, coalitions, as we look at citywide issues, in that that statement kind of created a bifurcation of individuals calling other individuals, asking them what they thought about that, which ultimately creates some folks saying, no, we're not with that. We don't know what that is, but I don't know if that is what's best helpful for us. So how do we as organizations, or at least from, as it relates to IMF and NAACP, this idea of collaboration?
Absolutely. One thing we mentioned earlier before the meeting started today, we would like to be talked to. Simple as that. If anything's going down or any concerns or any bills or any initiatives or any referendums, we would like to be talked to. When that doesn't happen, what they say, an idle mind is what? Okay. Well, when you leave our organization idle, when you leave lack of communication or connection to us about it, well, minds can be able to render. And when that happens, this is a result. Now, going forward, to your question, that's the goal. We don't want anything to be moved or done or voted on in this city unless the black community has a full consensus and understanding of what's going on, what's in it, what's not in it, where will we benefit, how would it be equitable. If that's not happening, well, we have a problem. If people don't know that, if I can go to District 1 today, which I am shortly after this, and I get my polling card to be official, and I ask my grandmother or my grandfather in District 1 or District 2, did you know about this? And they tell me, no, I had no idea. I have a problem with that. And with that, my statement was literally my statement. With that, reporter advocated that this is separate from the actual organization in his mind. He said, well, do you want to retract it? I said, we'll see, but let's see where it goes. And it went. And with that sense, our executive committee, 5 members of the executive committee, came and threw a meeting together, unconstitutional, but still a meeting together that expressed their views as well. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with adverse thought. I'm okay with agreeing or dissenting opinion. The only thing I'm not okay with is when we're not added in the conversation. If you allow me to come up with my own conclusions, do my own research, get my own Titans contract pulled up, I can see a host of different things and run with it. But I don't do that. I allow other members of my committee, the organization, and the community to put their sides out publicly, and that's how we're rocking. So at this current moment, a day before the end of early voting, and with Election Day on the rise, we want everyone to go to the polls. And going forward for future bills and legislation, I think somebody would be great if we all could really talk about it first and really get an understanding collectively. But when that wasn't done, well, these things could be a problem. So that's where we're at currently.
So I guess my problem is trying to get clarity around everybody. Black folk are not monolithic. I get that. And there's no need for that. Sometimes there need to be debate. But there was community engagement with the black community. There were several community orgs that did community engagement where there was overwhelming support amongst the black community for the transit plan.
Absolutely.
So when the NAACP says we're against it, that creates a ripple, not in the sense where, because there was what we thought was consensus.
Well, yeah, it wasn't the NAACP. It was myself. And the reporter himself stated, my title is what made it confusing. My name was attached. The title of NAACP president is what made it sticky. Well, I said, well, we should take that off. Well, okay, let's do that. So it wasn't the NAACP. Technically, like I said a moment ago, 5 members of our executive committee voted for or in agreement to support. That was not brought to our general body, and at this current moment, has yet to be. So the general body has not made a statement. Haven't even been informed if they are agreeing or not. My statement was strictly mine. So it got sticky. It got people guessing. But still, to my whole statement and point, we were not communicated to. Not myself, because everything don't have to come to me. We have a host of vice presidents. We have a secretary. If someone has the email and we're glad to show me where it came through, I would love to see it and see where it may have been missed. But at this current moment, it has not got to me. I would love to, please show me where, and I'll apologize if it did. But at this current moment, we have not had communication. The only communication we did have, I initiated. I reached out to Attorney Walter Searcy. I'm sure you're all familiar with Walter Searcy. And I said, hey, he said, I have a thought about transit. And I was like, you know what? I know your stance. I know your stance is against me. But guess what? I need you to come and speak to our executive committee and present that to them so they can hear an unbiased side, regardless of how I feel. Guess what he did? He came on a call. He gave his stance. No objection from me. That's all the communication we have gathered. Yes, sir.
So, Jonathan, I want to commend you on your leadership, first off. But everything should come through you as the president of the NAACP. It has to. It's not a matter of. My question is, when I was the president, we did a record amount of fundraising, but prior to that, the state had come in and put us under receivership. So, is the branch still under receivership under Gloria Sweet Love?
Thank you for saying that.
Is it?
No, it is not.
Okay.
So thankfully, I'll give this credit. I'm not going to take all the credit here. I'm going to give this to Dr. Cummings. She came in at the end of last year and tightened up, okay? Interesting choice there, but tightened up the branch. The strategic plan that's on your screen here, we all came together and presented that strategic plan. That has got us out of administrative hold.
So I had that strategic plan, and she wouldn't raise it up. I'm glad to hear that you're out, but the manipulation from the state, I'm glad you're no longer under that, so I can support you now.
Yes, sir. And it's at the same time, I'm not gonna. I feel those sentiments, so I'll keep it nice. Okay, yes, sir. I definitely feel those sentiments, and it's just been a blessing that we have been able to come out of that. We have full autonomy at this current moment, thanks to coming out of that hold. We're making national connections, and we're making great connections with our state now. So that, like I said, previous administrations created and established this strategic plan. Brother Caldwell, thank you, because that we added into that, and over the past year since, and we finally have got clear. So we're grateful to, at that point. That's what we've been trying to do a lot more this year and able to do for the next 2 years under my leadership to keep that going. So yes, we are clear from that. We're in good standing. Still the largest membership in the state, and still the capital city branch. We're not handcuffed anymore. So thank you. Yes, sir. I think brother right there, or yes, Brother Turner.
Quick question. So you talked about the collaboration piece. So it's kind of like a two-part. One, how many organizations that you can name that you are collaborating with currently, both grassroots and those who hang their hat on that they're a civil rights organization? And then do you see the future of a vision where some type of way you could gather all black organizations in Nashville to have some type of coalition? And that might just be my, being optimistic, to have a collective voice and some type of way, whether you meet monthly or quarterly or around issues, to have some collective voice around the black community so we won't be going against one another, at least agree to disagree, but as a united force, instead of hearing different voices from different organizations, that we're all really on the same team, fighting the same causes, white supremacy. And so do you see that in the future of being open or trying to lead that effort in doing that and gathering all the black and grassroots organizations?
Yes, absolutely yes. Jamel is right here. Jamel Campbell-Gooch here with us with the BNA and the Southern Movement. all of that. Our friends with the Equity Alliance, all of that. Oh, God, hold on. You done put me on the spot to name them all. Every other black civil rights or social justice entity in our city, we all need to come together on that, period. I'm not, one thing I mentioned to the administration and our team, I'm not about making feuds over different ideas and opinions. Why? Our people do not need to be divided over what you said in your bylaws, we on the same fight together. And every organization needs to come together and do that. As to your question, what do I want to see 2025? Add that to the next point, please. All of that has to happen. If that doesn't happen, we will not be successful. And I don't believe any other organization will be to the success that they can be at without that. Jamel, with the group, they didn't give y'all $1 million, correct? You asked for 10, correct? That's a problem. We need to be supporting you and making sure that's not an issue going forward. Every organization has to be a part, and I want to make that partnership happen. We're currently, we have an MOU with our Masonic lodges in Middle Tennessee. Our Mason brothers are helping us out greatly, doing a lot. We have our Greek, let me go over here. Our Greek letter organizations, Delta Sigma Theta, Alpha Kappa Alpha. There's a host of others I'm probably missing, but again, our Greek letter organizations are partnering with us. We're all in this same thing together. So my goal is that coalition of black and brown. I've been talking to the Hispanic Chamber. I want our different nationality brothers into that as well. They're not just on certain parts of the city. They're not knowing anything. I'm talking about my biggest grievance are black people not knowing information. Our Hispanic, Italian, different nationalities, our African culture that is now robust here in the city. They're not privy to all this, but they're going through the same injustices. We have to partner with all of them, all people of low income, low status, if you will, to the current structure. I'm for all of that, and I welcome all emails, all calls of how to partner, ideas of what to do. You got some programming you want us to help on? Well, let's see when. So let's see how many people we can get over. That's why I want volunteers to be up. So while we doing something on the Freedom Fund on Friday, y'all got an event on Sunday. I'm sorry, this is on Saturday, November 2nd. If y'all have an event on November 3rd, I need somebody from us there. I have to have that. If that's not done in 22 years by this term is up, I'm going to be upset. And I may run again just so we get it done. So it's literally that's partnership all the way through because we can't do this by ourselves. And I don't believe we're 28% in Davidson County. 28 roughly, somebody throw me out, of blacks in Davidson County. We can't do that by ourselves. And we can't do that with 1% over here, 0.5% over there. And as with the transit ideal, I don't care if you disagree. Well, let's figure out how it benefits us. Let's figure out how it's equitable. Let's figure out how we can get some conversation going to make it better. I don't care if you disagree. I'm open to that. That's what democracy stands for. So let's figure it out collectively. Everybody.
So I don't know if mine is actually a question. Could be a question of kind of understanding how your administration will operate. So we're seeing a shift in representation that is troubling for me. Representation means for me that I might have my own opinions, but I represent the opinions of those who I'm representing. And as a pastor of a church, I have to understand also the very delicate walk and very thin line that my voice means for that organization. So I can't say at the mic, well, I'm Gordon Jones, the senior pastor of Riverside, and I don't believe in Jesus, but my members believe in Jesus. It's really a thin line. I have to say, I no comment because my personal comment, but that is troubling for me, and I'm not saying towards you, just in general to see people are saying they represent me, but they make public statements with the office I give them, and it's different from what I'm saying. That makes sense? I don't know. And so, sometimes we just can't speak to certain issues because it's not what the audience that I represent speak to. And even though it might be, I'm strong against it, but because there is no time that I stand up, even I'm here today as I speak, I'm really representing my church. If it wasn't my church, I wouldn't be here. So I'm just trying to understand how your administration see that, because to be honest with you, a new person in the city, when I heard your comment, I thought that was the comment from NAACP. To be honest, I didn't know it was your personal comment.
Absolutely. So I'll form that statement as a question. You're absolutely right. Fortunately, I said my comment, and I'm standing on it. Going forward, I have to walk delicate. Absolutely. I agree. I really don't have a rebuttal for you or a pushback. I definitely think so. Yeah, it was a long reporter that gave me a question. And even with the funny part, he called Monday and was like, hey, can we, you want me, I didn't do that. Can we take your, I'm sorry I put your title on there, man. Can we take that? I was like, I think it's a little bit too late now, but it's cool. It wasn't cool. But nonetheless, I'm not tripping over that. I definitely agree. I really don't have a rebuttal for that. So you're absolutely right. Certain things can be said and cannot, and that's fair. Absolutely. Absolutely. This one right here is one that will not make or break this city. No, it won't make or break our community. And we'll just see what happens with it next week, in a few days. But in the meantime, we have a lot of more work to do that I believe is more pressing. But we have a lot of more work to do collectively. And I'm united with everyone of all backgrounds, parties, and tone, color, and creed to make sure it happens. So I'll make sure I'll be a little quiet next time. But appreciate you, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's thank President for being with us. Appreciate you. And certainly anyone, as those of us have gathered that are in the leader seat, leadership is not easy, and leadership is a responsibility to bear. And so we all have learned lessons along the way, and so I appreciate the humility and the acceptance. And this is the kind of discussion and help that helps sharpen and sharpen what we need to do as leaders. And I just want to echo and add that I know we might have differing philosophies, but we can help inform each other about what's going on in our community. And as sister organizations, I think that if IMF is doing something, NAACP is doing something, we need to make sure as organizations we keep the lines of communication open with one another. That if they don't call IMF but they call you, we can work together and make sure that we as a community are represented and informed well. So I think we all can make that commitment to one another and not allow any outside influences to splinter or to peel us apart. That's wonderful. Next week, Professor Marbury, Dr. Marbury, he just tipped out. He probably just didn't want to give this index, but he'll be preaching next week. It's the first Wednesday of the month, so Dr. Marbury will be preaching. And just to give everyone a heads up, what we're doing is we're going through our executive leadership. Each of them will be sharing a sermon, and then we're moving to our former presidents that we haven't heard from in a while. So our former presidents, we're calling their names. So we're going to be calling Jackson and Turner and Love and Thomas. And yeah, we're going to get on your calendar. We're going to let you, we'll get all of that together. But we had a wonderful idea to make sure we hear from our past presidents that we haven't heard from in a while to share in the preaching moments as well. All right, let us pray. Oh, God, we thank you for collaboration. And we thank you for unity. We thank you for the ability to work together, because one can put 1,000 to flight, but oh, what we can do together is so much more. And we pray, oh God, that you would continue to allow us to unite and be a united front, regardless of the names of our organizations, so that those that don't have a voice can be heard. And Lord, we pray that you would give us insight to when those who seek to splinter and divide us are working, we will be clear and we will have spiritual insight. We'll have discernment to know what it is we need to do. Give us the spirit of Issachar that we might understand the times. We thank you and we praise you. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.